The 2017 Buick Cascada. Is this one of the best kept secret convertibles on the market today, or is it really nothing more than a fancy vacation rental car? I'm Jay, and welcome to this latest episode of Carbos Unboxing Reviews, and this is the Buick Cascada. And before I get started, I want to thank Woodland Motors for letting Carbos come on down and film for you today. So the Buick Cascada, now you have to understand what this is. It's really nothing more than a rebadged Opel Cascada. What is Opel? It is GM's European brand. It is very popular in European countries such as Germany, Belgium, Netherlands. I think you get the point. Now, the original Cascada, the Opel badged one, it was first launched in late 2012, and the Buick badged version arrived in the US in early 2015. In fact, it was first unveiled at the Detroit Auto Show that year. Now, something else you need to know about the Buick Cascada is that it shares a platform with the compact sedan, the Buick Verano, which is also a heavily rebadged Opel model. So as you can see, a pattern that's forming here is that a lot of Buick models that you see on sale today are Opels, and that's a good thing because it's ensuring Buick's survival. Believe it or not, Buick almost did not make the cut during GM's bankruptcy, but GM convinced the US government that, look, Buick is selling really well in China, for example, and we have a business model where we can rebadge these Opels, which are very nice cars, and sell them in the US and make a profit. And this is the result that you see today. So stepping inside the Cascada here, this is actually the premium trim. There are only two trims sold, the base and the premium, and you get all this nice standard black leather with that white contrast stitching. And I have to say that the quality here compared to old GM before the bankruptcy, there's nothing like that old kind of crappy, cheap plastics going on. This is much better. And you realize that this is very European-esque. And the overall dash layout, now, I like it. I really do. But as you're going to see, it's starting to show its age. Remember, like I said, this car dates back to 2012. And so, in terms of the competition, which I'll also get to shortly, you're going to see that the Cascada, it's a nice car, but I'm not so sure how much longer it's going to be around, even though it just debuted. And as you can see, it's also good for up to 4 passengers, and you'll see also that the front seats do a nice thing about not going back too far, so for that, the rear seat passengers, their knees don't get banged up. So what's it like from the driver's seat here? Well, as you can see, it's a very nice overall dash layout. It's nothing overall too fancy, but it is certainly a little bit more premium. But then again, if you look at, for an example, the brand new Chevrolet Malibu, and you look at that thing's dash, oh man, that almost could be sold as a Buick. If it weren't for the Chevrolet badge, I believe GM was selling that Malibu as a Buick. And this is a 7-inch touchscreen here. Now, this is a perfect example of this car's age. What I don't like about this touchscreen, even though it works okay, the buttons on it, the touch buttons, they're a little small. It's the screen itself is kind of pushed back a little too far in the dash, and when the top is down, there's too much reflection on it, and I found it kind of hard to see. Some other features you're going to get, because this is the premium model: 7-speaker audio system, 8-way power driver's seat and passenger seat with power lumbar. The rear seats are 50-50 split folding, dual zone climate control, a leather wrapped heated steering wheel. And overall, this is roomy enough for up to 4 passengers, even though those 2 rear seat passengers are, well, hopefully they're not going to be too tall. So how does something like this drive? Well, I want to be absolutely clear about something here, is that this is not a sports car. Even though it looks kind of sporty, remember, it is still the basic platform as the Buick Verano, meaning it's sedan-based, front-wheel drive, but I think the engineers did a pretty good job of trying to make it as sporty feeling as possible. They added what they claimed to be a sport-tuned suspension, but again, it's not very sports car-like to me. So let's talk safety a little bit here. You have GM StabiliTrak stability control standard with traction control, 4-wheel ABS brakes, driver and passenger front, knee, and side impact airbags, a tire pressure monitoring system, and a rear view camera. And going back to the beginning about whether or not people are really going to buy the Cascada, well, it's been selling decently well, but what's interesting is that Buick doesn't really care. The Cascada is simply there to lure buyers into Buick showrooms. Buick doesn't care if they buy a Regal, an Enclave, or even a LaCrosse sedan. If they come looking just to get a better look at the Cascada, but they drive home in another Buick model, fine with them. That's what the Cascada is here for. It is meant to bring attention to Buick as a brand as a whole. So let's lower this top here. Now, I found this a little annoying, that chrome button, that little switch there. It was a little too shiny, but no big deal. I was getting a little nitpicky there. But it lowers the top in 17 seconds and raises in 19, and what I like is that there's no latches or release to pull, and it'll work up to speeds to 31 miles per hour. And the overall exterior styling here, it's nice. This is what they call Greystone metallic paint. Costs an extra $395. And here's another example of this car's age. If you look at the driver computer there right in front in the gauge cluster, you'll see it's small and it's very, very basic. Now, look at this. Just compared to Audi's new MMI system, for an example, that we saw in the Audi TTS and the A4. I mean, this thing just looks ancient. Again, it goes back to 2012, and bringing this Cascada to the US, the cheapest way to do it was just slap on some Buick badges instead of the Opel ones and call it a day. So what's the competition in the US like for something like this? Well, it's kind of interesting because there really isn't all that much. This is what I kind of consider to be an entry-level compact luxury car. So within that class, you're also going to have the Audi A3, BMW 2 Series, and the Acura ILX. Now, probably the two closest competitors to the Cascada here is the Volkswagen EOS, which starts at around $32,000, but the Volkswagen EOS is in its final model year. And there's also the Mini Cooper convertible, which starts at around $22,000. But yeah, see, getting to the rear seats here, this is a tight squeeze. Can you get two adults in here? Yes, but if they're over 6 feet tall, it's going to be kind of annoying because this is going to happen. Now, this is the easy entry system. So basically, you pull the release on the seat back, and the front seat moves forward via motors. And it'll return the seat back to its locked position, and the seat will then go back. But when it touches the rear seat's passenger knees, it'll stop and move forward an inch or so for some needed knee room. And that's kind of a cool system there, because, well, you need it. So cargo space, again, you're talking about a compact convertible here, so if you need a lot of cargo, this isn't the car for you. With the top up, you have 13 cubic feet. With the top down, 10 cubic feet. But like I said, the rear seats fold 50-50, and that certainly does help, yes. But I thought this overall trunk, it was adequately sized enough. So I was also thinking about who is actually going to buy this car. See, for example, if they see a Cascada on the road and they do go into a Buick dealership and they are for sure wanting this car, I see this as being more for empty nesters. Their kids are already out of the house and they have the extra money to spend. I'll get to pricing shortly. And they just want a kind of a fun convertible that's not too fast, but just fun to have. Alright, let's see what's under the hood here. Now, this is the only engine option offered in the US. It is a turbocharged 1.6 liter 4-cylinder engine, 200 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque. Power is sent only to the front wheels via a 6-speed automatic transmission with a manual shifting mode. And fuel economy, 20 miles per gallon in the city, 27 on the highway, and a combined 23. Now, this car weighs about 4,000 pounds, which is kind of hefty considering a Mazda MX-5 Miata weighs around 2,200 pounds. But let's hear this engine for a sec here. Let's let it rev. Alright, well, it sounds decently okay. It's just a little turbo four-banger, no big deal. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 8.4 seconds. Top speed is electronically limited to 125 miles per hour. But just to give you an idea, a better perspective of that 0 to 60 time, an Encore crossover will go from 0 to 60 in 9.3 seconds. So this is not a fast car, but it looks nice. Again, Opel has always designed really nice looking cars, and it's nice to see the US finally get them, even though they're Buicks, and that's fine with me. Here's some close-ups of that graystone metallic paint. You also have LED daytime running lights, high-intensity headlights. And these come with 20-inch aluminum wheels, and the convertible roof is acoustically and thermally insulated as well. So pricing, now like I mentioned, there are only two trims available, the base and the premium. The base model starts off at $33,900, but it comes with a lot of standard features such as a heated steering wheel, navigation, dual zone climate control. And then you have the premium, which is this car, and it starts at $36,065. And what it adds is some safety features like forward collision warning, lane departure warning, automatic wipers, and nicer wheels. And the only extra feature on this particular car is that graystone metallic paint. So including destination, which costs $925, you're looking at a grand total price for this car of $37,385. Yeah, that's kind of expensive. You're about 40 grand for just a little two-door convertible that's not very fast. It's not very sporty, but it looks good inside and out. Is it kind of showing its age? Yes, without question. But I think the people who are going to be interested in buying it, they really don't care about that. They're not exactly big-time car driving enthusiasts. They just like a nice, attractive convertible cruiser. Maybe they live in Florida and they just want a nice car. But the other hand, and this is what I'm kind of, concerned about with the Cascada, is that it's really nothing more than kind of a vacation rental car. So what do I like about it? Well, it's stylish and fun. I like its European roots, and it's different, and you just don't see a whole lot of them on the road. What don't I like? Just not enough power, the aging interior and technologies, and like I mentioned, that 7-inch touchscreen is just pushed too far back into the dash. And in case you're wondering, what does Cascada mean anyway? Well, in Spanish, it means waterfall, which is meant to show the waterfall grille design of Buicks that they used to have in the past, but again, because this one, it still has much more of its Opel design, they kind of didn't really change the grille all that much, except for the new Buick badge. But fortunately, the Cascada has been doing its job for Buicks, because as a Buick executive told me in Detroit last year that they've been experiencing a 46% conquest rate, stealing sales from both Acura and Infiniti, two of its most main competitors. So I'm out of time for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Any more questions for me, just leave them in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to the CarBuzz Unboxing YouTube channel, and I'll see you on my next unboxing review. Thanks for watching.